This video is a sample from the Secret Guitar Teacher Interactive course, The 5 Main Elements of Music. The 5 main elements of music. Element number 2, scales. Section 2.5, learning the major scale. Part 3, the sandwich exercise. When we learned the blues scale patterns, we deliberately avoided naming the actual notes of the scale or analysing them in any way. We simply learned 5 fretboard positions and drilled them until they were in muscle memory. This resulted in us creating a roadmap for that particular scale type that looks something like this. Now, we could take exactly the same approach to learning to play the major scale across the whole fretboard. But for now, I want to leave the graphical pathway for the time being and get you started on the analytical pathway. The first step on this pathway is a brief revisitation to the caged system of octave patterns. A close look at the octave patterns reveals that there are only 2 basic components forming the actual octaves. I call these forward diagonals and backward diagonals. The sandwich exercise is a method of focusing in on these 7 octave patterns, the 4 forward diagonals and the 3 backward diagonals, and drilling the scale pattern that goes with each diagonal. Once this is done, the cage system itself can be used to populate the entire fretboard with whichever type of scale you have drilled, in any key of your choosing. It's a very fast, very efficient learning system. Let's make a start. Here's a preview of the complete exercise. For the more experienced student, it may be enough just to copy what I do here, but a more detailed demonstration will follow. It doesn't matter too much where we start this exercise. I choose to do it between frets 5 and 8. First, let's map out the diagonal patterns. Which pattern we play depends on which string we start on, and our decision to work forwards or backwards, another way of saying up the fretboard or down the fretboard. So if I start with my first finger, fret 5, string 6, and play the forward diagonals from there, it looks like this. First one, I finger 1, 3, and then I keep exactly the same fingering for the next one. But as I come off the D string, I know I'm negotiating the tuning anomaly, so I stretch out to the 1, 4 fingering. And then I keep that fingering off the G string here for the 4th forward diagonal. So of those 4 forward diagonal patterns, 2 are normal and 2 are stretched. Now let's have a look at the backward diagonals. So I'm going to start with my little finger here at fret 8, just to keep my hand in the same position. And then I reach back 3 frets and across 3 strings, and with my first finger I find an octave there. So that fingering is 4, 1. When I move across, I immediately encompass that tuning anomaly there, so I shrink the pattern down and finger it with my second finger instead of my first. So that fingering is 4, 2, and then from this one I keep that same fingering to hit the top string there with my second finger. So of the 3 backward diagonals, we've got a normal one that fingers 4, 1, and then 2 shrunk diagonals that I finger 4, 2. Before going further, I suggest pausing the video and playing round those patterns a dozen times or so, just to get them firmly into muscle memory. This will make the rest of the drill easier. So that's our basic framework established. Now we will select a scale to work with. In this case, we'll pick the major scale. To join these 2 notes together with the major scale, I simply think of the formula tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So a good tip here is we start with our second finger on the first note, and we can then go up a tone using our 4th finger. Now to go up a tone from there, we're going to, without moving out of position, we're obviously going to need to jump up to the next string, and to go up 1 tone we think +5 -3, so that's taking us to our first finger there back at fret 4. Then we need another semitone, tone, up another tone, again back to finger 1 at fret 4, another tone, and a semitone. So that's our major scale pattern: 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. And I advise playing that up and down a few times to get used to it before continuing. Now, this is the time you've been waiting for, because we're going to talk about sandwiches. So, a sandwich is made up normally of 2 slices of bread and some sort of filling. In our case, the slices of bread equate to the octave pattern of the particular diagonal we're working on, and the filling is the scale played up and down. So our first sandwich is like this: octave pattern, then the filling, then a second slice of bread, to complete the sandwich. Now we move across and repeat for the second diagonal one slice of bread, filling, another slice of bread. When we come to the third diagonal off the D string, we have to allow for the tuning anomaly by stretching the slice of bread and then remembering to shift the hand up as we cross the tuning anomaly. But it's still one slice of bread, filling, and another slice of bread. Finally, we play this last octave from the third string. But notice that in this case, the tuning anomaly actually helps us a bit, because we can now start on our first finger, as the tuning anomaly is effectively going to pull the pattern upper fret on the top two strings there. So we can finger this 1, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. So here's a demo of the whole drill so far. So now it's on to the backward diagonals. Some of my students call these brown bread sandwiches, probably because they're a little more difficult to digest, but they're really good for you. Let's start at fret 8 on the 6th string, and we'll finger 4, 1 for the diagonal. That's our first slice of bread. Now the scale. Play the first note with a pinky, then to go up a tone we go to finger 1, 3 frets further down, then another tone, semitone, then on to the next string for a tone. Now we want to go up a tone, but in anticipation of what's going to happen next, I'm going to finger this one with my pinky, bringing that down a fret, to allow this first finger out for another tone, and then complete the octave with the second finger on the semitone there. On the way down, likewise, my first finger comes up a fret there to allow my little finger out, semitone, tone, tone, and then another slice of bread. So that's good news is that we can now move across and repeat this pattern from string 5 in a simplified form, because the tuning anomaly is now going to help us again. So we won't need to use that finger shift. We can just go one slice of bread, second finger finds the octave because this is a shrunk diagonal, go up a tone across the next string, first finger, tone, semitone, tone, tone using the third finger, another tone with the first finger, and that works because across these two strings that's only 4 semitones up, minus 2 gives us 2 semitones, and then finish on the second finger. Finally, off the D string, we go 4, 1, 3, and then a semitone, and then a tone using our second finger, another tone, pinky, another tone up to the top string on the first finger, and then a semitone using our second finger. So no shift required on that one either. Hey, let's do that one again. One slice of bread. And another slice of bread at the end. So here are the brown bread sandwiches all together. And here is a slow demo of the whole exercise, exactly as you will be asked to execute it on the assignment following this lesson. And that is a complete sandwich exercise for the major scale. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you'd really like to maximize your potential as a guitar player, click on the link in the description below to the Secret Guitar Teacher site. Here you can sign up for a 30-day trial free of charge and without obligation. We won't even ask you for your credit card number.